So I'm going to tell you how to, in more detail. I made a video about it earlier today, but I'm going to tell you in more detail how it is that you can have and maintain a flow state. This means going into good, fast, smooth, uninterrupted production with your mind cleared of clutter or debris. It means, as something appears in my eye, it means continue with what you're doing as something appears in your eye. Continue with what you're doing as someone talks to you in the middle of video recording. Continuing what you're doing as you feel like doing something else. Continuing what you're doing when you remember something inspiring. Continuing what you're doing when a nice car appears outside. Continuing what you're doing when you realize that something could change your destiny. Continuing what you're doing when you smell jacarandas in the summer breeze. Continuing what you're doing as you begin to crave raisins. Continuing what you're doing as you realize that you haven't stuck to your diet the whole day. Continuing what you're doing when you realize that you should probably drink a glass of water. Continuing what you're doing when you think cough drops would be pretty nice to soothe that cough. Continuing what you're doing when that girl that you have a crush on walks by. Continuing what you're doing when you start to sense the existential nature of your life, when you start to have deep and philosophical questions. Continuing what you're doing when you realize just how material the wall is in front of you. Continuing what you're doing when you feel a sense of nothingness, as if life is nothing, you know, a sense of non-reality to reality. Continuing what you're doing when you suddenly feel, for the first time in a long time, the temperature of your body in the clothes and it's hot. Continuing what you're doing, continuing what you're doing, continuing what you're doing. That's the tutorial. Should you keep doing what you're doing when you're doing it, the momentum converts into flow state itself, and you can create yourself a synthetic flow state. In fact, dare I say, you can create godhood within a realm by doing what you're doing. This is a simple concept, but my God, will you feel a lot of things within the first hour or 2 hours of doing this. But once it smooths out, once you can do what you're doing when you're doing it, and do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, and as you glitch out, as human beings are meant to, as you twist, contort, form into different forms, bend, turn into a black hole, and turn into a planet, turn into whatever it is, yeah? As you feel yourself resisting simply doing one thing, the distractible, undisciplined entity you are being a human being. As you resist this, you slowly become an ideal. Yeah? The concept is similar to the concept of meditation. It is not quite that, but it's similar to the concept of meditation. Meditation is sitting there and being there with your demons, with your problems, and you sit there and you're there. And the demon will manifest and the problem will manifest, and you know what? Such urgency might manifest and you'll be there. Meditating. Do you see? And that's the essence of it. And once you master that, flow state will come to you more easily, and you will tame yourself as a human being. Realize that a lot of the time you are a wild animal version of your higher self. And your higher self can be forced into, barged into, skipping all gradients of life that you were supposed to go through in order to reach said higher self. You can force yourself into being your higher self by simply doing what you're doing, by simply being there comfortably despite anything that comes your way. You can become a synthetic ideal. And an ideal is above human. What I've said to you sounds maybe silly, maybe simple. But I'll tell you what, it's the most difficult thing for a human being to go through, and the most difficult thing for a human being to obtain is the state of being ideal. But I'll tell you what, you can do it, and probably within 3 hours. And I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a way to get into a flow state. You can study hundreds of books. I'll tell you, because I have studied hundreds of books, you could get lots of work done, far more than your peers. I'll tell you, because I've gotten lots of work done, far more than my peers. And you could become a standard of human that is above a normal human. And this is the tutorial. Simple, not easy at all. Try it and you will find immediately that you're better than everyone for no reason.